So last video I reviewed Martin Scorsese's Shutter Island, and if you had seen that video, you'd know that I really enjoyed that movie. So some of you may have noticed that I mentioned The Departed at the end of the video, and it was one of the Martin Scorsese movies that I had watched. And I said that it may be my favorite Martin Scorsese movie, and that is because this movie is really awesome. So, for those of you who don't know, The Departed is a mob movie about a mob boss, a mole in the mob, and a mole in the police force, and the violence that happens between them. And the thing I really liked about this movie was the characters, and this was partly due to the acting. I know a lot of people have probably already said this, but Jack Nicholson was amazing in this movie. Possibly his best performance. What am I saying? Maybe The Shining's his best. But so yeah, Jack Nicholson amazing. He was very charismatic, but he was also kind of threatening. Yeah, and he was really good as the mob boss character. Maybe it's just because I like Jack Nicholson as a character, but so yeah. I mean, as an actor, what am I saying? And Leonardo DiCaprio was also amazing in this movie. Um, I don't know if I've ever felt for any of his characters that he's played quite as much as I did for the undercover cop he played in this movie. And he is the protagonist, and I was rooting for him during the movie. And I don't think I've ever actually seen Matt Damon act as a villain character in a movie. But he is good as the cop who's actually working with the mob. Um, and he's a villain, but he kind of you feel bad for him because he doesn't really want to be bad. He just was. He kind of owes Jack Nicholson's character. And he doesn't want to be part of that life, if but he is, but he still does the bad things. So he's quite a complicated character. He's a villain, but he's a complex villain. So the acting in this movie was just really good. And they're not only good because of the acting. These characters, they're not just good because of the acting. They're written really well. Like they feel like they could be real life people. Um I know a lot of movies have more cookie cutter characters. They're not really that developed and all that, and they can be fun to watch. Like the Mission Impossible movies, for say, they're not really that developed. The characters, but they're fun. But and I still like them, or I might not like all of them. There might be a few I don't like. But yeah, like they're not as developed as this movie, and so the characters that the acting is great and the development is great and the way they interact with the story, which is also really good, is really great. The story actually reminds me of this movie, Donnie Brasco. I don't know if most people in the audience probably haven't heard of it. It's quite an underrated movie, actually. I might review it on my channel someday. I quite like that movie. It's a good movie. It's got Al Pacino and Johnny Depp in it. And back to this Departed. So overall, I just really loved The Departed. I think it's one of those movies that is gonna be a future classic, and it definitely deserves to be. So if you haven't seen The Departed, I would definitely recommend it. Unless you don't really like seeing graphic violence in movies. And other than that, still, I'd recommend it.